what is your I guess interpretation of Rodgers telling Jameson Williams, "I'm going to hold on to this one"? What do you got for me on that?
Well, I think obviously there was immediate speculation. I saw it in real time. Like, I think, the mics picked things up so well. In fact, I was kind of straining to listen as he was, giving hugs and talking to people on the field after the game. And I kind of figured we might hear something, and we did. And I thought buried in this whole story is the confidence of Jameson Williams going to get Rodgers' jersey.
Hey, he's shooting his shot.
Awesome.
He's shooting his shot.
Yeah, you got to shoot your shot. Rodgers, understandably, if it's the last game, wants to keep that jersey. And I don't think anybody would be surprised, if it was his last game. Listen, I still think he's a great player. And, I think there's going to be any number of teams that are going to look at what he brings to the table and think, hey, that's the difference between where we're sitting in a Super Bowl. Like, say, Rich, the Jets wanted to bring Aaron Rodgers in. Who says no? You say no?
Oh, I do not say no to that. Even though I still wear the scars of the Favre administration there, but this is a different situation, different quarterback, different everything.
Well, the Brett Favre-led Jets beat my Rams 44-10. I think I was on the field for that one.
Okay.
It was crazy. But yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers would make somebody better next year. It just has not worked as of late in Green Bay. It just feels like they have a lot of talent, year to year. I think this year there were some questions about, some of the offensive weapons they have. But you talk about, at the end of the season, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Robert Tonyan, you get Bakhtiari back. I'm not going to make a bunch of excuses for this offense. And ultimately that falls on Aaron Rodgers' shoulder. It falls on Matt LaFleur's shoulders. And, the fumble hurt last night, and plus territory, you miss a field goal, which, obviously at that point, it was a very long field goal. And then seeing Matt asking somebody on the sideline, do you want me to punt it? So I don't know if they were thinking about punting that ball, but you could point to any number of things in that game last night. But ultimately the theme is, you lose to San Francisco 49ers at home in a cold weather game, and Jimmy Garoppolo is the other quarterback. And then, in a must-win game, you lose to Jared Goff. And I'm not trying to demean those two quarterbacks, but if you're Aaron Rodgers, you have to beat those guys. And so I don't think there's much more we have to see in Green Bay, honestly. And I think, Aaron making it known on some level after the game, I'm not saying he knew the mic would pick it up, but it's about time to start posturing for maybe I don't want to be here. That's every year, right? And it started last week before the Week 18 game. Well, I'm not sure what the future holds and that sort of thing. I think this year it's not a bluff, and he can't retire. $59 million, it's hard to walk away from, or whatever it is. And he doesn't have a no trade clause, so I think he's going to have more control over his situation this offseason.
Well, I'm not a capologist, Chris, nor are you, but I think I have it written down here. Trading him would cost the Packers $1 gajillion. That's what I wrote down, the word gajillion. So the idea, though, is, and I know he's all about mindfulness and living in the present, but that was pretty damn mindful in living in the present about, I'm going to hold on to this one, meaning it's in his head, and it was in his head going into the game despite the 4-game win streak. That it's a possibility that he would not want to come back, because who doesn't want to come back to play a game that he clearly loves for $60 million in a spot that adores him too. So this thing doesn't compute unless he does.
I bet you there's been think about it, for years you resent where you play, on some level, whether it was his treatment earlier in his career, with everything with Favre in the beginning, or whether it's kind of your perceived lack of investment in weapons that would help him win, depending on where you land on that. And then by the end of it, it's just this kind of I'm not saying the relationship is toxic necessarily, but I think you build up these calluses over years where you just kind of got your mind made up that the grass would be greener somewhere else on some level. And I do believe that part of him probably wants to see what that's about. I don't know. It feels like they've had every opportunity to take the next step over the last couple of years, and they haven't done it. And I don't know. You know, if you're the Packers, do you hit the reset button while that stock's really high? Because he can still throw the football, man. He's still a hell of a football player. And I think it'd be interesting, too. I think it'd be good TV. You know, Aaron in New York or something like that. I mean, I hate to keep placing him in a Jets uniform, but it's just something that's popped in my head this morning.
There's Vegas, too, I mean, which is a spot a lot of people think Brady would have a landing spot for. Miami might be in the business of a quarterback. Yeah. I mean, the quarterback carousel as it begins to spin with teams now being eliminated is going to be really fascinating between now and new league year time. Chris Long, 2-time Super Bowl champ, here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.